Coming up today, Trinity University is now offering booster vaccines for the COVID-19 virus.
And we'll talk about a miracle from a fire, the San Antonio Symphony on strike, and your sports update.
All this and more right now on Newswave. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Welcome to Newswave. Today is Friday, November 5th. I'm James Crosno.
And I'm Caleb Reed.
The United States Food and Drug Administration has just authorized the emergency use of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for children ages 5 through 11. This authorization opens up an additional estimated 2.9 million Americans eligible for the vaccine. Research trials have indicated that the Pfizer vaccine is over 90% effective at preventing symptomatic disease in children. And UT Health San Antonio pediatrician Dr. Tess Barton recommends parents contact their children's pediatricians to determine if they're eligible for the vaccine. At this time, Pfizer and Moderna are continuing trials for children as young as 6 months old. And we here at Newswave will be sure to keep you informed as we get more information.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, also called the CDC, recently announced plans for administering COVID-19 boosters. Trinity jumped at the opportunity to further increase immunity within the student and staff population. According to the CDC, individuals between the ages of 18 and 49 who have an increased risk of contacting or transmitting COVID-19 from a work or occupational institution, such as Trinity, may receive a booster of the Pfizer vaccine if it has been at least 6 months since their second dose of the Pfizer, based on their individual benefits and risks. On Wednesday, October 20th, and later on November 4th, Trinity University plans to host 2 COVID and flu drives for COVID and flu shots, which include the Pfizer booster. Despite Trinity's vaccination numbers being over 90%, and there only being one active COVID-19 case as of October 25th, students and staff are still urged to exercise caution. With vaccine drives set for Thursday, November 11th, and Wednesday, December 1st, more students can get a chance to get a booster. Students are recommended to be more careful over the holidays when visiting their families, but with COVID numbers, vaccination numbers, and now the boosters, Trinity officials are considering the possibility of lowering mask requirements indoors for the spring semester.
Registration for the spring 2022 semester starts next Monday on November 8th. Students across campus have been meeting with their advisors to come up with a plan for how to tackle the somewhat stressful time. For tips on getting a good class schedule, make sure you've been cleared by your advisor, trust their knowledge, but make sure you know what you would like out of your time at Trinity. Make sure to have some backup classes and sections, and make sure not to stress if everything doesn't work out. From all of us here at Newswave, we hope you have a good registration and consider signing up for our Tiger TV apprenticeship class. Coming up, a former San Antonio police officer is trying to get her job back.
And a new law aimed at protecting dogs that might help your furry little friend.
Don't go anywhere.
This is our home. This is our studio, filled with empty seats and cameras waiting to press record again. With remote classes and the COVID-19 pandemic, it's hard not to feel like we've lost a community on campus. When we're not on campus, it's hard to feel home. But home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. And here at Tiger TV, we're bringing that feeling to you. Because while our studio is waiting for us, we haven't stopped bringing you the shows you need. Get involved with some of our diverse programming like Newswave, Studio 21, and the Not So Late Show. Tune in to our YouTube and Vimeo channels if you miss some of the quality campus television programming we make. Just because we're remote, that doesn't mean we're not still together. Because here, home is more than just a place. Home is Tiger TV.
Welcome back to Newswave. The San Antonio Spurs are preparing to don some new uniforms soon to pay homage to the city and the franchise's history. Debuting on November 12th, the FIESTA-style uniforms have bright colors and patterns for the NBA City Edition. According to Aaron Kane of Nike, the NBA City uniforms are, quote, a celebration of the fandom and for the league's 75th anniversary. The Spurs uniforms bring back colors and designs from the franchise's history that date back to the 70s and will be available for purchase at the team store starting on November 15th.
Texas law is making strides forward for animal rights as Governor Greg Abbott signed Senate Bill No. 5, the Safe Outdoor Dogs Bill. This new bill bans the use of heavy weights and chains to restrain dogs that requires collars to be made of material specifically designed to be placed around the neck of a dog. The law also discards the former 24-hour rule that prevented law enforcement from intervening if an animal is found to be in inhumane conditions. Violators of the bill will be charged with a Class C misdemeanor and can be fined up to $500. According to KSAT.com, this past Monday, the Supreme Court of the United States indicated that they would allow abortion providers in Texas to challenge the controversial legislator that placed an effective ban on abortion after 6 weeks. The law threatens large financial penalties for providers and individuals receiving an abortion after 6 weeks, and clinics throughout the state have halted the performance of the procedure after the heartbeat is detected. The court currently seats a 6-3 conservative majority who voted down a request by the Biden administration to put a temporary hold on the execution of the law. The court's willingness to hear the provider's challenge comes as a surprise, as traditionally Republican Justices Kavanaugh and Coney Barrett have expressed questions surrounding the structure and constitutionality of the law. Despite the court's somewhat shocking acceptance of the challenge, the court has made no demonstration on whether it would enforce a temporary hold on the law. The future of abortion laws in Texas still hangs in the balance as the Supreme Court will deliberate over the provider's case, but the court's willingness to observe the matter is a good sign for abortion providers and the pro-choice movement in Texas.
Our international correspondent Maddie Polion sat down again with Juan Realpe from Colombia to talk about his global experiences. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Madison Poljan. I've been studying abroad in Stockholm, Sweden for the past 2 months, and today I'm here with my good friend Juan Realpe, who's going to talk a little bit about his cross-cultural experiences between Colombia and Sweden. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on to the show today.
Thank you for inviting me. I am very excited to tell Trinity University Newswave my experiences.
Let's get right into it then. The first question that I have is if you could talk a little bit about your experience in Sweden so far.
Yes, of course. Well, it's been good actually. I think everyone knows or has the idea that Sweden is very open to hear and understand new perspectives, and it's been good. Of course, like any other place in the world, it can improve. Like its tolerance towards immigrants can improve. So yeah.
So my next question kind of goes out to, this is a like news station that we have at Trinity, and I was wondering what's been like some of the biggest differences in like news and media that you've observed between like Colombia and Sweden?
Okay, this is quite a hard question, especially because in Colombia, our news stations and news channels, they're part of a monopoly, so you don't really get the truth or like the information that you really need, but you get the information that they want you to have. So the problem there was that when the pandemics came, there was so much information going around, but you didn't know who to trust because you know that the information that you're getting is actually being like edited to get you, like not edited, like
like being like altered.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a big problem. While here in Sweden, you actually have laws that let you have libertad de prensa. I don't know how you say that in English.
Not freedom of the press?
Freedom of, yeah. You have that, so you can really understand anything you really want to from many perspectives, and that's extremely important, and it's really sad because there can be a lot of misinterpretations and misinformation in general when you have that sector of the media monopolized.
Awesome. So switching gears a little bit, you're really into like the communications area yourself, looking at going into photography and journalism. And for those of you who haven't seen Juan's pictures or are following him on Instagram, he's really got some cool like photos and stories out there. And I was wondering, what is it about the fields of photography and journalism that kind of drew you to that field?
I think we sometimes forget that each of us experience reality in our very own way. And we take our realities for granted. And I think it shouldn't be like that. We should actually um, be open about how we live and what we think about our lives and share those kind of thoughts. So I thought like, okay, the best way to do it is journalism and also photography, like to capture the essence of of that makes our lives so unique. I don't know. That's my take on it.
That is beautiful, inspirational take, 100%. Is there like a certain favorite type of story that you like to tell?
I think most journalists, they actually want to report about wars or international news, but I think I would like to be more focused on internal ideological battles. One example of this is, for example, here in Sweden, there is also like a very big ideological battle between different branches of feminism and gender ideologies and immigration laws and philosophical battles about nationalism. And there are so many internal battles that each country has to deal with, and I would really like to report those because I think they need to be heard. I don't think they're given the platform.
Absolutely, 100%. I could feel the passion coming off of that. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much for coming and for being interviewed by Trinity University Newswave. Yes, and thank you guys for watching this incredible interview. Juan is such a great friend, and
thank you.
He is a really great person with some really great ideas. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy.
Stay tuned, we've got the latest on a disgraced former SAPD officer appealing to get her job back.
And then we'll get a listen to what's happening in the world of pop culture from our new entertainment host.
We'll be right back.
This is our home. This is our studio, filled with empty seats and cameras waiting to press record again. With remote classes and the COVID-19 pandemic, it's hard not to feel like we've lost a community on campus. When we're not on campus, it's hard to feel home. But home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. And here at Tiger TV, we're bringing that feeling to you. Because while our studio is waiting for us, we haven't stopped bringing you the shows you need. Get involved with some of our diverse programming like Newswave, Studio 21, and the Not So Late Show. Tune in to our YouTube and Vimeo channels if you miss some of the quality campus television programming we make. Just because we're remote, that doesn't mean we're not still together. Because here, home is more than just a place. Home is Tiger TV.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. In 2018, San Antonio police officer Elizabeth Montoya was terminated after body cam footage was released of an incident that involved the use of excessive force on a pregnant woman. Now she's trying to appeal to get her job back. According to KSAT.com, the victim of this assault was one Kimberly Esperanza, who was 6 months pregnant at the time and was luckily able to deliver a healthy baby girl. San Antonio Police Chief William McManus agreed that Montoya was unfit to be a police officer, swiftly terminating her after the body cam footage was inspected. Prior to her termination, Montoya had a similar display of on-duty violence, which resulted in her suspension in 2015. Neither case resulted in criminal charges, and when questioned by the KSAT 12 defenders, the San Antonio District Attorney's Office provided no comment. Since the incident, Montoya had a temporary agreement working with the Leon Valley Police Department, directing traffic and other off-duty work. Montoya is no longer employed by the LVPD, but will appear before a third-party arbitrator in December in an attempt to reverse the firing.
In some lighter news, on Tuesday, October 26th, a miracle occurred in Boerne, Texas. Jake the Labradoodle was home when his family's house caught on fire. Boerne firefighters arrived on the scene. After ensuring that the human residents were safe, they began a search and rescue mission for Jake. Firefighters found Jake in poor condition, however, thanks to some miraculous occurrences, including the specialty oxygen masks donated to the Boerne Fire Department and a neighbor veterinarian living across the street, Jake rapidly recuperated and was able to be taken to a local animal hospital for additional treatment and recovery.
And now we'll hand it over to Angelina for this week's entertainment news. Angelina, welcome back to the Newswave.
Thanks, Caleb. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Angelina Delia with this week's news entertainment for you. First up, some exciting news in the music industry. Swedish pop group ABBA released a brand new album yesterday. This is their first new music in 40 years. The group was formed in the 1970s, and their members are now in their 70s themselves, and have announced that this album, Voyage, will be their final masterpiece. The artists have also promised fans a tour, but one unlike any other. ABBA's hologram tour is expected to be quite the spectacle, featuring holographic avatars of the members in their younger years. The 90-minute concert is to be performed in a custom-built arena in London and will debut on May 27, 2022. Another 70s icon has been busy this week as well. Sir Elton John, English singer, songwriter, pianist, and composer, well known for his extravagant stage looks, has just released his own line of eyewear in collaboration with Walmart and Sam's Club. Each pair is inspired by his career, and according to John, quote, funds from the sale of Elton John eyewear will help us reach the most vulnerable communities to help combat the growing AIDS epidemic in the U.S. South. Walmart has promised to donate a minimum of $1 million a year from the collection to the Elton John AIDS Foundation in order to increase HIV education and awareness. The frames will range from $95 to $100 and will be available in prescription, non-prescription, sun, and reader categories, just in time for the gift-giving season. Moving on to TV news, Disney has thrown Star Wars fans into a frenzy after releasing the official trailer for the Book of Boba Fett. The series, starring Tamora Morrison and Ming-Na Wen, is being produced by Jon Favreau, creator of The Mandalorian, and will premiere on Disney Plus on December 29, 2021. Actor Daniel Levy, best known for his role in Schitt's Creek, is cooking up a new show of his own. The Big Brunch is to be HBO Max's second reality cooking show ever, and is intended to focus on finding undiscovered voices, quote, those special humans who create communities around their cooking, hoping to take their skills to the next level. The show is set to premiere next year, and in the meantime, Levy has promised in a tweet that casting notice is coming very soon. And finally, the blockbuster of the week, Marvel's The Eternals. The film, premiering today, follows 10 of Marvel's newest heroes as they reunite to battle the evil deviants. The movie has been met with a shockingly low Rotten Tomatoes score, along with mixed reactions from critics, but it is still expected to be a box office success. It is up to the fans now to decide if this film is a flop or not. And that's all I've got for you today. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, and thank you so much for watching.
Thanks, Angelina. With the colder weather in, I'm never upset by more content coming out from Star Wars or Marvel.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Marvel is absolutely fantastic just to binge.
Still ahead, your update on sports from Caleb.
And our student expert interviewer, Devin Karp, talks to senior and triple major Patrick Kelly.
We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Follow the path that empowers you to be your best self. Surround yourself with people who embrace your quirks, who don't settle, who seek a life without regret, who know how to win, but aren't afraid to fail. Be part of an elite network with those who know what success is all about. Be brave enough to have a fulfilled life. Trinity University. Discover, grow, become.
Welcome back to Newswave. I am Caleb Reed, and here is your sports news for the week. Let's get started first up with Trinity Sports. Football took another dominant conference win last week, beating Hendrix 62-13. The game was highlighted by junior quarterback Tucker Horn, who threw for 340 yards and 5 touchdowns in the game. Coming up next, Trinity plays Brigham Southern tomorrow on the road. Men's soccer also had a strong outing on the road in Colorado, winning 2-1 against Colorado College. They play again today at 5 p.m. in Seguin for the semifinal in the SEAC tournament. Women's volleyball also won both their matchups last weekend, advancing to the SEAC championship semifinal against a soon-to-be-named opponent. Basketball is also getting ready to tip off this season, with the women's basketball team taking on East Texas Baptist tomorrow night at 6 p.m. here in Trinity. They also play on Sunday at Mary Hardin Baylor, with men's basketball traveling to Sul Ross State, also on the same day of Sunday. Meanwhile, in professional sports, the Dallas Mavericks beat the San Antonio Spurs 109-108 on Wednesday. Dallas superstars Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson led Dallas to a combined 54 points. This week, they traveled to Orlando to play the Magic tonight at 7. Also, going back in the past, last Sunday, the Dallas Cowboys played the Minnesota Vikings en route to a 20-16 victory, with star quarterback Dak Prescott out of the game due to a calf strain. Backup quarterback Cooper Rush threw for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns en route to the victory. Prescott is expected to return this weekend when the Denver Broncos come to Dallas on Saturday at noon. Meanwhile, in baseball, the Atlanta Braves won the World Series on Tuesday night against the Houston Astros, winning the series 4-2. The deciding Game 6 was won in a 7-0 shutout by Atlanta, who won their first ring since 1995. Outfielder Jorge Soler was voted the World Series MVP after hitting 3 home runs in the series. Finally, to personally my favorite, the racing, the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Championship is set to start on Sunday in Phoenix with the green flag aimed at around 2 o'clock p.m. Chase Elliott is the defending champion, but his teammate Kyle Larson of Hendrick Motorsports is arguably the favorite in the championship 4. Martin Truex Jr. is the 2017 champion, looking for his second Cup title, while Denny Hamlin of Joe Gibbs is looking for his first. Meanwhile, in Formula One, Dutchman Max Verstappen looks to continue his strong form as the grid travels to Mexico City, Mexico. 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton is aiming to reclaim the lead of the title, but the Red Bull cars have had a strong grip on the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for the last few years. After failing to host the Grand Prix last year due to COVID, fans of Mexican driver Sergio Checo Perez are bound to make their presence known when he makes a bid for the win. Mexico City rejoined the Formula One calendar in 2015 for the first time since 1992 and has numerous features that make it a fan favorite. The 3/4-mile front straight sees cars clocking in at nearly 230 miles an hour, but that is not all. The Foro Sol is a section of the track where drivers go through what once was a baseball stadium and has a capacity of 25,000 fans. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Caleb. Up next, our executive producer, Devin Karp, is back again with Student Experts. This time we'll hear from a triple major senior on campus, Patrick Kelly. Let's take a look.
Thanks, guys. Welcome back to Student Expert. I'm Devin Karp, and I'm getting around campus to talk to all the different kinds of students to hear about their majors and some of the individual experiences they've had at Trinity. And if we're talking about individual, then I don't know anybody more unique than Patrick. Patrick, thanks for coming on to Student Expert.
Thanks for having me.
So you have a really great situation on campus. You're a triple major, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. All right. Would you go ahead and list what 3 majors you've got for everybody?
Sure. It's kind of a mouthful, but first is business analytics and technology. Second is economics, and my 3rd major is Spanish.
Wow. So what made you decide that you wanted to do 3 majors on campus?
That's a great question. It kind of happened by accident. I didn't really know what I wanted to major in. I started as an undeclared major, and then I learned I liked economics, and I learned I liked business analytics, or BAT. And then Spanish is something I've always been passionate about, and so I was just always taking Spanish classes. So the Spanish major just kind of happened, I don't want to say coincidentally, but I realized like I was pretty close to getting it, and so I decided to pursue that like junior year. So it all kind of lined up. There was some element of luck to it, because it wasn't like a grand plan at the beginning, so I was like, oh, this actually kind of worked out. So just I liked all of them individually, and thankfully they all kind of worked out with my schedule.
Yeah, great to hear. So how have these 3 different subjects kind of worked together? I mean, I think it's a little bit more obvious for business analytics and technology and economics, but how do you get to put Spanish into all that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, like, as you mentioned, like, the synergy between BAT and economics is more clear. I think with BAT, I have more of the quantitative side. And then economics, it's economic theory for the most part that I really enjoy. And so it's a combination of, like, coding skills that I get from BAT and some, like, machine learning kind of principles. And then with economics, it's more, like, supply and demand, like, looking at markets and some market history as well, which I think is, it can be kind of boring, but I kind of like it. So that's something that's pretty cool. And then with Spanish, you know, sometimes you find some interesting connections, like there's history there that sometimes ties into economics more directly. Like if you look at Spain, like post-Civil War, like there's a lot of really interesting economic problems going on there too. So like you can make those connections. I really enjoy Spanish just as like an expression of my creative side, like literature and writing. So that's kind of what I find most valuable from that major.
Wow, insightful as heck. How do you manage to stay afloat with your pretty big workload on campus? I know it's a lot.
It's definitely a lot. Some semesters are better than others. I would say to be able to do it, you have to take a lot of hours every semester, so that's something you can't really compromise on. Next semester is my last semester, so thankfully that'll be a little bit lighter. But it's really just time management and planning, and just knowing when your tests are, and just grinding when you have to grind. Like it really is a grind, but it's rewarding too. Like I think the important thing is like I enjoy all the majors, and so even if I have a lot of homework sometimes or like big projects, I'm enjoying it for the most part. Like there's definitely been times where I've had 3 tests on one day and I'm like, why am I doing this? But for the most part, it's, you know, it's manageable.
And you just finished up a pretty big summer internship, right? You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So I spent the past summer interning in the Global Markets Operations Division with Goldman Sachs, which was a great experience. I got a lot of real-world kind of interaction with my teammates, and I got to see what the financial services industry was like, and it was really exciting and different from what I expected it to be. So I really enjoyed that, and I'll be returning there this summer for full-time employment. So I'm really looking forward to that. So it was a really great experience that I was able to use mostly my economics and BAT side, but some of my teammates also spoke Spanish, so I was actually able to talk to them in Spanish. So in that way, I kind of pulled from all 3 majors, so it's kind of cool.
Wow, look at that. That's perfect trifecta of everything coming in.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it. So, Goldman Sachs, pretty big name. Make sure to remember us when you've gone big.
For sure.
So if you didn't think Patrick was busy enough, he's actually in the Trinitones with me, isn't that right?
That's correct.
Yeah, what's it been like? I mean, you know, you talk about your creative side with Spanish. How does that interact with doing choir and an a cappella group at the same time?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So I would say it's similar because I choose Spanish to express myself creatively. I love writing in some context, not all the time, but I like to write when I enjoy the theme and whatever. But in terms of singing, that's also kind of an expression of my creativity, and I love to sing. It's something that I like to do because it makes me feel happy. And so, like, and being around people too, it's a fun experience, especially with Trinitones, because it's pretty relaxed and it's a great group of people. So that's something that I really enjoy doing. The connection between Spanish and singing, generally speaking, because I'm also in choir, there's the language help. So like if you sing a song in Spanish or Italian, it's pretty similar. French, like any of the Romance languages, like you can kind of understand where they're coming from. So it's useful in that regard. But I think more importantly, it just gives you like a more abstract perspective in terms of how you approach things. And so you can be very open-minded when you look at a new piece of music.
Wow. Well, I don't know much what else there is to say. Patrick, would you have any recommendations to anybody who's thinking about double majoring, maybe even triple majoring in Spanish, economics, business analytics, and technology? What would you have to say to anybody who's a viewer? You got this camera right here. Okay. What's going on? What is the best parts about it?
The best parts of triple majoring or double majoring is you got to explore multiple things you're interested in. But if you're looking at double majoring or especially triple majoring, like talk to your advisor about it, make sure it's possible, and make sure you actually enjoy what you're also like the additional majors, because that's something that's really important. Like if you don't enjoy it, don't do it. That's kind of my general mentality.
Well, thank you for joining us, Patrick. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Won't take any more of your time. I'll let you get back to your RA, choir, Trinitone, Spanish, economics, and BAT.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much for coming, man.
Of course.
Thanks, Devin. That's all the time we have this week. Make sure to join us next Friday on November 11th.
From everyone here at Newswave, we hope that you have a very safe weekend. I'm Caleb Reed.
And I'm James Crosno. We'll see you next week.